The River Wharfe, one of the greatest rivers in Yorkshire, flows through some of the most varied landscapes in England. Its name means fast flowing, and it does for 80 miles from Beckermonds to its confluence with the River Ouse at Cawood south of York, before flowing into the Humber estuary and out into the North Sea. We're going to travel its first 40 miles. The Wharfedale that is set in the deep glacial valley, created over 10,000 years ago by a glacier gouging, scouring and crushing anything in its path before melting away just past the market town of Otley. If you're looking for a spectacular rise to the river, you'll be very disappointed. It doesn't have one source, but rises from a series of becks that drain the moors of Cam Fell. It's bleak, wild and boggy country. The road running over Fleet Moss and down to Hawes in Wensleydale is the highest in Yorkshire at 1,934 feet. Despite its height, the Romans also built a cross-Pennine road right across the tops to link their garrisons in Lancashire to that at Bainbridge in Wensleydale. Much of this road can still be walked on, as it is used by the long-distance footpath, the Pennine Way, that runs 270 miles from Edale in Derbyshire to Kirk Yetholm in Scotland. You need a fortnight or more to walk its length. Two becks, Oughtershaw and Greenside, merge at Beckermonds to form the Wharf proper. The water in these becks has already run for 3 miles or more before reaching here. Stand on Beckerman's Bridge and watch the waters mingle. This golden brown colour is caused by the peat the rainwater has seeped through. Oddly for a river, it never passes through a highly industrialised town or city along its entire length. Yet this water will be the lifeblood for many along its route, whether for farming, fishing, drinking water or industrial processes such as paper making in Otley. Sheep are never far away, still the mainstay of farms along the Dale. However, any associated textile trades relying upon wool are now all gone. Before we leave the hamlet of Beckermonds, have a wander around. Like many Dales hamlets, the land around here has been farmed by the same families for centuries, such as by the Foster and Lodge families at Beckermonds. They built these farms and farm workers' cottages mostly in the 17th and 18th centuries. Although this is the River Wharfe, we aren't yet in Wharfedale proper. The upper stretch, 10 or 11 miles in length, is called Langstrothdale, a former hunting forest. At one time, trees would have covered the entire area, but has been cleared for fuel and farmland. The hamlets seen in these parts, like Beckermonds, grew around forest lodges, places from which hunting parties would depart to catch wild deer. Behind Beckermonds, you'll notice the vast areas of a commercial forest. There are few plantations along the river, and most are used to supply wood locally for fencing or for use in housing, such as floorboards and joists. Effort is being made to have a mix of tree types and also to follow the contours of the land rather than stark blocks of trees. All this land falls within the Yorkshire Dales National Park, established in 1954. They work in partnership with the government's countryside agency to help conserve and enhance the area for all. However, nearly all this land is in private ownership, although some areas have special protection as sites of specific scientific interest, or are managed by the National Trust and other groups for its flora or its unique geological features. Local services are provided both by North Yorkshire County Council and Creven District Council. One wonders whether there are more officials based out of the Dale than farmers in it. Although shallow here, the waters are fast flowing and make ideal picnic spots or somewhere to play in the natural pools. Look into the river bottom to see where the glacier has scarred the rock. The next community past is Deepdale, notable for the first road bridge across the Wharf. Along our journey, we'll only come across 13 road bridges and as many footbridges and stepping stones, if the water isn't too high. Man has left another impression upon the land since first coming here, probably around 5,000 years ago. To see an early artefact, your first stop-off point should be the Yockenthwaite stone circle. It's not the only stone circle we shall see on our journey, but it is the most accessible. After all, it is on flat ground, although across the river from the road. It's 25 feet in diameter and is thought to have been built as a burial mound. Yockenthwaite. Now that's a strange name. It means Yogun's clearing and is Norse in origin. It came from invaders from Scandinavia who settled here in the 7th century and is the basis for many of the village names on the Wharf and words used in local dialect. It's this tiny hamlet that's reached by the Packhorse Bridge. Moving on a few hundred years and a mile downstream, we come to St Michael and All the Angels Church at Hubberholme. Again, it's very isolated, but central to the hamlets that it was built to serve in the early 12th century. You need to go inside, as it has a very rare example of a rood loft. These separated the choir from the nave, and were where the rood, the crucifix, was displayed. They were abolished by Elizabeth I in 1571. However, this one escaped, probably because of its remote location. It's 18 feet wide and 6 feet in depth, and was constructed in 1558. From this position, you're looking at the back of it. Go to the altar side to see the quality of the craftsmanship. It hasn't been restored. All the paintwork is original. Look out for the Mouseman furniture installed by Robert Thompson of Kilburn in 1934. The stained glass windows that tell about the Dale. The bell, dated 1601. And the unusual heptagonal font. Sit and ponder how this church, so far from the city of Bradford and seemingly having nothing in common with it, has two connections with it. The parish forms part of the huge diocese of Bradford, and if you look at a plaque on the tower, this is a memorial to Bradford-born author and playwright J.B. Priestley, who died in 1984. Opposite the church stands the George Inn. It may look big from the outside, but in fact the pub was once only the size of a cottage. It's now grown to encompass two. The church and the pub were once the focal point of all community life. In fact, the George has combined both. It was once the vicarage. Come here on the first Monday in January to see the annual land letting. 16 acres of steep fellside, owned by the church since about 1820 and only suitable for sheep grazing, is let every year to the highest bidder. The one with the bid when the candle goes out. The vicar is the auctioneer and takes bids in the bar, called for the night the House of Commons. The church wardens sit in the House of Lords and take the payment for the winning bid. The money raised goes to the poor of the parish.
Go on, 286 with Willie for tonight. Well done.
It's the line, Willie.
Now he's going to sign on the dotted line. It's 286 and we've got a lot of witnesses. All right. Well done. of the
No,
land.
it's true.